They met when she was 20 and he was 24. Betty was at a friend's birthday party and felt out of place. The music was too loud, there were too many unfamiliar faces. She was already thinking about how to leave unnoticed when a man sat down on the armrest of her chair. "Do you believe people meet for a reason?" he asked. She laughed, too loudly, too nervously. He took her hand and traced his thumb along her lifelines. "You have two," Alex said. "Then you'll live happily ever after." Twice. Betty thought he was joking. But a year later, they married. The first few years were easy. They rented a small apartment on the outskirts, ate simple food in the evenings, and saved up for their own place. Alex made coffee in the mornings and always gave her the extra pillow because she liked to sleep high. Betty ironed his shirts and pretended not to notice him hiding his socks under the sofa. They didn't talk about children. "We'll have time," Alex said. "We're fine together," Betty replied. She truly believed it. Year 5. Year 10. Her friends were having second and third children, posting photos from their matinees on social media and complaining about sleepless nights. Betty liked them and turned off the sound. She began testing. She donated blood, had ultrasounds, visited fertility specialists in neighboring towns. The doctors shrugged. "Idiopathic infertility," one said. "A diagnosis that explains nothing but takes away hope." She resigned herself. She told herself, family doesn't necessarily mean children. They have love, work, a dog, and plans for their retirement in a house by the sea. Alex didn't argue. He stopped talking about the future altogether. Year 15. Alex started staying late at work. Then, going on business trips. Betty didn't check. They trusted each other. They had everything except the kids. Sometimes she noticed him looking at strange boys in the park, at toddlers in sandboxes, at teenagers with backpacks. She thought, he's suffering too. He wants to, but he can't. She took his hand and led him away from the playgrounds. 17. He came home unusually quiet. Without undressing, he sat on the edge of the bed where Betty was reading a book. He was silent for a long time. Then he took out his phone and handed it to her. "I have to show you something," Alex said. On the screen was a boy. About 10 years old. Blonde hair, grey eyes, freckles on his nose. He smiled at the camera, clutching a backpack with dinosaurs to his chest. Betty looked at the boy, at the shape of his eyes, at the line of his jaw, at his smile. And she saw Alex. His spitting image. A miniature version of the man who'd shared her bed for 17 years. "This is my son, Mickey. He's 10. He lives in the countryside with his mother. I helped him with money. We saw each other once a month." He talked and talked. About the casual encounter at the beginning of their relationship. About not knowing they had a child until he was 2. About what he'd wanted to tell her, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago, but always couldn't find the words. Afraid he'd lose her. And yesterday, Mickey asked why he didn't have any siblings. And Alex realized, he couldn't lie anymore. Betty listened and felt something break inside. With a crunch. Like dry twigs, Betty was undergoing fertility treatment. She blamed herself. She begged him for forgiveness for not being able to give her a child. And Alex had been the father all this time. A week passed. Betty didn't leave. She didn't pack her bags, didn't scream, didn't break any dishes. She got up, made coffee, went to work, and came back. On the surface, everything was as usual. But she stopped calling him darling. She stopped touching him when she passed. She stopped leaving the light on in the hallway if he was late. Alex followed her like a shadow. He tried to talk to her, took her hand, she pulled it away. Not angrily. She simply pulled away. As if from a stranger. She didn't leave. She stayed. But every time she looked at her husband, she didn't see the man who took her hand and talked about 2 life paths. She saw the man who lied to her for 17 years, looking him in the eye. And she doesn't know if she'll ever be able to see the old man again. And somewhere on the periphery of her consciousness, very quietly, a thought began to form. He wasn't just hiding his son. He was hiding her choice from her. The choice to be a mother. The choice to know. The choice to forgive or not. That choice was stolen from her. And forgiving this may be more difficult than the betrayal itself.